In New York City, Luigi Mangione returns to court for a crucial evidence hearing exactly 1 year after his arrest. Mangione is the man accused of gunning down UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Now, in court today, lawyers for Mangione continued fighting to keep key evidence out of his upcoming murder trial. Now, the evidence presented in court gives us a clearer picture of the accused killer. We're seeing his personal belongings, including a comb, razor, protein bars, masks, lighters, and toothpaste, as well as handwritten plans for travel and notes about what to wear to stay under the radar. Let's bring in CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman live for us outside the courthouse. Katrina, tell us what we learned in court today.
Well, court just wrapped for the day. On the stand all day was an Altoona police officer, Stephen Fox, and he is one of the officers who searched Luigi Mangione's backpack at that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He also accompanied him to his arraignment in Blair County. He made a couple pointed comments about Mangione today. One was toward the very beginning. He was asked what he knew about the incident that had happened in New York. And what Fox said was that he knew it was a violent act of cowardice that was targeted at a defenseless human being. He looked very pointedly at Mangione in court when he said that. Later, Mangione's attorney was questioning him about how Mangione had been very polite, cooperative with the police, she said, and he agreed, but he called him approximately as genuine as someone who just assassinated someone. So we're hearing some very pointed commentary from him, but also a lot about what happened at McDonald's when that bag was searched. We learned that there was some debate over whether or not they needed a warrant. It was something we had heard before, but he is the one who was really handling that backpack at the time. There were a couple of supervisors at the McDonald's who at a certain point felt that they did in fact need a warrant. Fox said that this was a search incident to arrest and that it was okay for them to have searched that backpack. In addition, when they took it to the police precinct, one of those supervisors had said they should just leave it there, but they did in fact continue to search. Another point that Luigi Mangione's attorney pressed him on was when he searched the backpack. Essentially, after they found this loaded magazine, they decided to bring it back to the station. But they said they'd been looking for an explosive device. He said that could, for example, have been a pipe bomb. And she pointed out that a silencer that was later found in the bag at the precinct has a very similar shape to the pipe bomb, pointing out that that was something he missed during that search. So they're really trying to poke holes in what happened that day as they were allegedly searching for an explosive device, but ultimately ended up really doing a deep search of Mangione's backpack without a warrant, which his team says violated his constitutional rights.
Now, Katrina, at the center of these hearings is also whether Mangione's Miranda rights were read to him during his arrest at that McDonald's. So what did we learn about that exchange?
That's correct. This is the officer who read Mangione those Miranda rights. Another thing Mangione's attorney pointed out is this was done very quickly. He said about 98 words in 15 seconds when he delivered those Miranda rights. It also came about 19 or 20 minutes after officers had entered that McDonald's. Once Mangione heard his Miranda rights, he was asked if he wanted to speak. He indicated no by shaking his head. This officer said he didn't initially see that gesture. He continued to ask him another question about why he had lied about his fake ID. Mangione did nod in acquiescence, admitting that that ID was fake. This officer ultimately frisked him, but all of this is going to be crucial as the judge tries to determine which statements should be let in, at what point those Miranda rights were read, should they have been read sooner, whether or not Mangione was free to leave before then. That is a crucial element here. Was he making statements voluntarily before he was read his Miranda rights and ultimately put into custody? Mangione's attorney also pointed out that officers initially told him after those rights were read that he was not in custody yet. If he made any other false statements to them, that he would in fact be arrested. Then really within seconds, they ended up handcuffing him, and nothing happened, she said, between those moments besides him asserting his right to remain silent.
Katrina, it's worth reminding our viewers we're not even at the main event yet. This is all pre-trial hearing.
That's correct. These are suppression hearings. They are solely about whether evidence and statements are going to be let in. The evidence from that backpack statements that were made when Mangione was arrested. It really does feel like a trial with all of these witnesses. It seems like it's going to stretch on for at least 2 weeks, but we are not there yet, and that trial date has not been set.
Katrina Kaufman, thank you so much.